get this underway. What a series for our finals. These two continually performing in these Kung Fu Cup events. As in the bottom right, we start this off with the red Terran player Cure taking on the blue Terran top left-hand side INnoVation. And yeah, these guys, they really do keep on delivering in these events. I obviously just said this, but like, it's really true. Since these events took place in 2020, so since 2020, Cure and INnoVation have 3 of these titles combined, with Cure also losing to INnoVation one of the times that INnoVation won. And actually, since the remaking of these events, so since these events were brought back into play, that was at the end of 2019, Cure actually won the first 2 of those as well, with INnoVation having another top 4 finish. So crazy to see these guys just showing up again and again and again. INnoVation actually our most winning Kung Fu Cup weekly player. 7 Kung Fu Cup weeklies won. Cure, 3 weeklies won, tied with Gumiho, Rogue, and Zest. It's just impressive across the board. And actually, perhaps worth mentioning as well, some other storylines here. INnoVation has never, ever finished 2nd place in a Kung Fu Cup. So 7 finals, and not once did he fail to win one of these final events. That's kind of crazy, right? That's kind of wild. Not once did he get 2nd place. Cure's had 2nd place 2 times. Obviously, one of those was to INnoVation. The other was way back when, I believe, he lost to Rogue in a finals one time in 2018. Way back when this was like the original. I'm pretty sure that must have been the 2nd time, because I remember that as kind of an intriguing match. For certain reasons I won't go into right now, as we set up into this best of 5. TvT is already a little bit different across the board. You can see Cure 1 gas opening against the 2 gas opening of INnoVation. That will lead into an expansion after the factory. So INnoVation just a little bit more safe here early. A faster factory and then a faster, perhaps the starport's a question mark, because usually actually you skip the starport with this style for a little while because you expand anyways. So the starport isn't too far ahead. You just go 2nd Reaper and a Hellion already, as we see Cure just going straight into the reactor. So, most importantly for Cure, cannot lose this Reaper. If you lose this Reaper, you're in so much trouble from the start, as INnoVation won't stick around. Will leave after dealing some damage to an SCV, but nothing killed, nothing gained so far. As we do have the extra units coming across the map. So again, no starport just yet on either side. Again, INnoVation will have that slightly later expansion. So you will see Cure taking a slight SCV lead, and Cure actually going to proxy his starport out to the left side of the map. So Cure opting for a setup which is going to be a little bit trickier to hold. Perhaps INnoVation applying some pressure at the front here, but reacted Hellions should keep Cure very safe from anything INnoVation tries to commit to up the ramp or so. Obviously, the starport finishing from Cure, really we'll see a Liberator, I imagine. Liberator comes out, sieges up in the main base, and immediately you just have so much denied mining time there, but it's not like super fast. It's not like this factory is delayed too much, so it kind of depends what the Cyclone wants to do, because if the Cyclone moves across the map, then maybe you're in trouble as INnoVation. If it stays at home, you should clean up that Liberator pretty quickly, so it kind of depends a lot on what that Cyclone decides to do here. It's going to pop out around about now, and obviously there's still going to be a bit of time before this Liberator pops. Big advantage for INnoVation, though, because you've also got to remember that during this, INnoVation is going to be sitting up on a, on a Raven, and that's something which, as long as he doesn't take too much damage early, he'll then have the earlier Raven count, and obviously Cure will struggle to do anything starport-based because his starport's kind of on the wrong side of the map. Liberator moving forwards, and it should just pull back because the Cyclone's going to get a lock on pretty much instantly here, and this Liberator does turn away. At the same time, units coming through the center here from Cure, so INnoVation will have to send some units down to defend that. This is where he's going to be tested a little bit. He'll have to bring his Cyclone down here. That's where the Liberator could siege up, but he sends the Raven to go deal with that. Second Cyclone actually popped out as well. Just needs to auto turret here, maybe pull some SCVs. He's going to lose 2, he's going to lose 3 workers, and then he gets the Liberator kill. So Cure getting a little bit of damage done. Him getting damage as the aggressor. Really nice, considering this is the early stages of the game where Cure opened 1 gas expand and INnoVation expanded after the factory. Rest of these Hellions still joining up then as a Reaper comes out from INnoVation around the right side of the map. You see a Liberator about to pop, and that will start to head up this left side as well, going in towards the main base. So bringing this across as we see 2 more refineries dropping down in the natural expansion. This Reaper from INnoVation hopping up again, looking to see what it can do. Passing by into the main base here, looking for some extra worker damage. Some SCVs will start to go down. 5 workers killed across the map, by the way, as the Liberator showed back up. It's the second Liberator that got built. This Reaper gets a couple kills, which is nice, but INnoVation definitely trailing on the worker count. Yeah, this is going to be another Liberator build. So again, really Cure keeping up the pressure from this. Remember, it does mean no starport at home, so it means no medevac production, it means no Ravens. As INnoVation here is going to opt for a second factory as well. Those gases already down the natural. INnoVation and Cure have shown us some really good mech versus bio play lately. And that is something which has been very useful for INnoVation in terms of setting up into good positions in these games and being able to win these series that he's been playing against Cure. Cure shows some really fun bio TvT, but on this map I imagine he will just go for the more kind of tech up towards extra starports of his own, etc., his own air army, rather than kind of like the mass bio units to try and break INnoVation down. It's just hard to play units all over the place here on Triton compared to on a map like Simulacrum, which is where they had that really epic TvT that time. Ravens flying through, and the first one is going to just get its auto turret down before it's going to want to before it gets killed off there. And workers going down again as the Liberator shows up, gets so many kills before it gets cleaned out. INnoVation, I mean, he's going to get a few SCVs of his own, right? But I mean, it's still kind of crazy. He's just about going to get 7, I guess, isn't so bad. All 3 Ravens get out alive as well, which is kind of nice. Obviously, these Liberators are quite an investment. You know, the Liberators are something that's 150, 150, and they all go down. So Kira's done some good damage. He's 5 workers ahead, but also probably invested more to do this and still doesn't have the Ravens, which INnoVation has. INnoVation also playing mechs, so he can get away with some extra bits and pieces in this game as well. So yeah, INnoVation, I feel like for playing mech is in a pretty comfortable spot. He's got a good Raven count, he's got a siege tank count built up without any pressure from Cure coming in so far. He has a few SCVs down, but I think, again, playing mech, you can be a bit behind in economy. SCV count is obviously, it's nice to not be behind, but at the same time, it's far from the end of the world if you are ending up behind, right? Like, you know, 5 workers, for example, it's just so minimal when mech trades that much better than the bio player anyways. INnoVation will start Blue Flame. We'll see if he just wants to stick to tanks here. We've seen some kind of Cyclone playing TvT lately, although I'd imagine it's probably just going to stick to kind of siege tanks in this kind of game. If you're going to play with Cyclones, you kind of generally go Cyclone opener and Macfield. And you kind of go from there, and against Bio especially, it's something you generally want to start transitioning and teching out of. Not sticking on for too long at all. So those 2 Hellions going to be finishing up in this main base. We do see 1 Hellion still out over this far right side. 4th Command Center from Cure dropping down over the side there as well. So looking pretty good in that regard. This bio army of Cure still pushing up towards the top of the map at the moment, as we do see a bit more bio from Cure out over the right hand side. Some extra supply depots dropping down. There's the 4th base from Cure getting going as well. So Cure, obviously being the bio player, wants to kind of expand a bit fast. He's going to find INnoVation in an odd spot here. INnoVation has a lot of his defense prepared over towards the 3rd base, but Cure just walked straight up between the natural and the 3rd, and INnoVation, is he just going to die? He's going to be able to auto turret kill these siege tanks. He's actually going to matrix those tanks. And then he's going to auto turret them. I mean, I guess that works, but he loses his natural expansion already, so Cure just runs straight on in, and well, that's one way for this to just end. I mean, this game just ends, right? Like, okay, INnoVation's going to clean up pretty much everything here, but Cure's going to get so many kills in the process. Right, 23 SCVs already went down. You know, natural expansion went down, so you're on 2 bases now as INnoVation. And this has just been a full-on disaster, to say the least. Damn, I mean, INnoVation just not ready for that at all. He's so ready for any attack coming in this way, drops He's just not ready for Q to just be like, oh, hello, walk straight down this ramp in between the natural and the third. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I mean, at this point, INnoVation, you know, his army supply is still pretty decent, but obviously his work account and his income is absolutely down in the gutter. It's pretty brutal, huh? It's pretty brutal. Oh, good to see the attempt to drop here is shut down at least, so that's something that goes INnoVation's way. As hey, he's gonna find a few of these units not escaping right away. Gets a couple of kills. Yeah, Kyo's just gonna keep on being all over the map, though. He's gonna go one way, he's gonna go the next way. He's gonna be all over the place here, as we do see the army of INnoVation continue to press forwards. And this is basically it. INnoVation has good army supply right now, so if you can make something happen now, then fine. Let's go, let's do this. But if he doesn't make it happen right now, then he's in trouble, because again, his mining is really limited. He's pushing down the left side, but Q actually expanded over to the right, so INnoVation is not even in a great spot here right away. He's gonna siege up. What can he hit here? The starport. I mean, that's nice. Deny some air control from your opponent. Keep the air control in your favor. That's a really nice denial. Lift up the starport, but guess what? There's Vikings, so they'll get the kill. INnoVation looking to reinforce, but there's units in the center of the map that will completely overwhelm this, and Kira is just like, yep, let's go. INnoVation not sieged up just yet. He's going to try and siege the tanks now. He's going to drop the matrices over here so he can push on forwards into these siege tanks. I mean, it's one of the benefits of the units in the center kind of fighting now, and he is actually doing okay-ish over there. Check in on that in a moment or so, as INnoVation is in position on Kira's natural expansion. Over here, I mean, INnoVation's units are being cleaned out, the reinforcements, but again, it took a lot of Kira's army out of position, and now INnoVation sieging up these extra tanks. Here come the units back from the center, though. A few units that actually didn't commit all the way in, and now INnoVation is being surrounded, and that is going to be INnoVation cleaned up. The extra Vikings coming through, continue to shoot down the medevacs. It looks like that will pretty much be that. Cure 150 supply to 124 of INnoVation. It shuts down this attack. And Q obviously setting up 30 workers. Means he's mining so much more, building so much more. Starport's back on track, building 4 Vikings at a time. Advanced ballistics so he can go into Liberators and really make sure he can clean up the siege tank lines a bit more effectively once he has that air advantage. Looking very, very good across the board. Looking very, very good across the board. As you just see, the couple extra Thors on the way up here from INnoVation. Excuse me. Here out over the right hand side. Bio will press forward. Couple Hellions. One of them gets caught pretty much right away. +2 vehicle plating coming up, +1 ship weapons. Again, all of this getting ready to go. A few extra Liberators coming in. Building up a little bit more. The Bio army of Cure coming back down the bottom side. These Hellions going to go pushing forwards. You do see our SCVs getting roasted. A few SCVs going down all over the place. I mean, that's 5 workers killed. I mean, it's damage that INnoVation needs to do, but it's not enough. He needs way more than that. Stuck here on 3 bases. Doing the right sort of things, just in too tough of a position perhaps from what happened early. Let's see if there is maybe somehow a way for INnoVation to fight back into this. A little bit of Bio from Cure. Set up on the top side, some Bio of Cure pulling back down the bottom as well. 3 more tanks on the way, a couple of medevacs, Hellions. +2 vehicle plating about to finish up. This army of INnoVation coming down the right hand side. Gonna get ready to push this planetary fortress, immediately in some trouble. INnoVation keeps finding himself getting into positions that I feel like Cure shouldn't let him into, and I mean, suddenly Cure's gonna lose a base. I mean, okay, he's got a base and more CCs building on the left side, so it's far from the end of the world, don't get me wrong, but, you know, should INnoVation have ever found himself in this kind of position anyways? I mean, it really feels like, no, he shouldn't have had this opportunity. And now the chance is there. Let's see what happens in the skies. An anti-armor missile will be very important. A lot of auto turrets coming down as well from INnoVation, knowing that's his way to help fight this off, but it's still not really looking to be enough. Hasn't even broken down the planetary fortress yet. The Thor's struggling to get in position to help out as well. I mean, it looks as though this planetary might eventually die. Meanwhile, though, Q has set up the flank around, looking to come in from the top side. And maybe I mean, there's not any on the ground on the bottom, though. Maybe stop INnoVation from retreating away. He's going to move in now as INnoVation unsieges. He didn't expect this from the top, so he gets siege back up just about in time. Q will lose a couple units. INnoVation still pressing forwards. He's about to have a 4th base up. Again, INnoVation. I've counted him out of this game so many times, and right now he's proven me wrong. He proves me I shouldn't have been a doubter. Couple more depots going down. Just gonna be seeing a couple of Thors firing away. I mean, able to break through the Liberators. So the Liberator coverage, not enough just yet. There's a couple on the map, but 5 building at a time. It's got to be the issue here from INnoVation, right? How's he going to get rid of these Liberators? 2 Thors won't do the job. A few Vikings, a couple more Thors coming out back at home. I mean, all of these Liberators are absolutely the issue right now. How do you fight them? As the Liberators start sieging up, the Thors are going to go for them, but... And even the Thors are getting picked away. He's going to get 2 of the 4, but it's, again, not enough just yet. That means that these siege tanks are just completely nullified. They can't do anything in this kind of scenario. Need some more units coming across. The Vikings here from INnoVation, but they're just not in good enough numbers. 11 Vikings against the 6 in favor of Cure. I mean, again, the Thors are really kind of the one answer you have, but again, he just doesn't have the number of Thors that he needs just yet. Couple of Thors firing away, and actually this goes a bit better for INnoVation at the start. You get some of the Libs that were already in range. This Liberate Siege is up in range as well. INnoVation's taking the supply lead here as he continues to push down the map. He's got Q on a new 4th base in the bottom left-hand corner. Thor's taking a lot of damage again. I mean, if you get rid of the Liberators, though, you really open some opportunities for yourself. And this tank force pushes forwards again, and Q keeps getting pushed around. Liberators rallying into Thors. That's not how you do this. Now more Thors showing up. Maybe INnoVation has actually gotten to the point where you can actually just deal with this. That's kind of crazy. This game feels like it should have never, ever been any sort of opportunity for INnoVation. Knocked down 2 bases early in the game, but Q has been in a lot of trouble. Like, he's consistently let INnoVation get into positions which I feel like INnoVation should have never really been allowed into in the first place. I mean, now there's natural expansion into some really heavy fire, and you can see Thors are melting. Vikings are melting to the Thors. Liberator gets one of the low health Thors at least, but the tank coverage is very good, and I'm not sure where the Liberators are meant to show up to help save the day. Now Kyo loses the natural orbital as well. Just more damage being taken. Tanks push further forwards. Reinforcements will gather in the middle of the map, waiting to all come in together at once. Cure. I mean, he's trying all sorts, you know, Liberators in funky positions and whatever else he can, but it's just not turning out to be enough just yet. Bio still pushing up the top side. Thor gonna get caught. I mean, this is probably Q's best option, right? Some kind of a counter-attack force. INnoVation to defend at home so that maybe he can outnumber INnoVation's army back over here. Pull this army back down from the top. Again, if you can stop reinforcements joining up and then gather your 2 armies together, you should outnumber INnoVation a little bit, but at the moment it's not happening. Let's see if he gets picked off. INnoVation sieging again. More of these Hellions running down the left-hand side. I mean, this is a base which is mining a lot of SCVs there. As here comes Cure for the flank in, and he does get a fight. But man, it costs him so much. These few tanks will probably go down, sure, but these Hellions are having a field day. 33 SCVs down and counting. In INnoVation. This is not a game INnoVation should have ever won. I'm just gonna say it. It's kind of crazy. What a game from INnoVation. It's crazy. If this was me playing the bio player in this game, I kill INnoVation's base to put myself in such a good spot. I'm absolutely punching my keyboard when this game ends. Like, there is no 2 ways about it. My keyboard is at least losing 2 or 3 keys. Because, like, it is, like what? GG from Kira, and INnoVation takes game 1 of this best of 5. Wow. Crazy stuff from INnoVation, making it work from a very weak position. Kira just did not have the answer to these mech pushes. Game number 2 in the top left-hand side, down a map, our red Terran player. This is Kira. Up against INnoVation in the bottom right-hand side. And I feel like if Kira actually just at some point waited with the Liberators until he had like 8 at once instead of 4 or then 2 and then 2 again, I actually feel INnoVation just dies. He shuts down that push and then Kira's kind of okay, but didn't happen. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. I'm just gonna mute up a second, guys. 1 sec. Alright, welcome back. So yeah, Kira had the right idea, I think, just didn't really commit at the right times, and the thing is as well, he got the air advantage, which is the crazy part, right? Like, he got the air advantage, he got to the crazy part, the difficult part, to get the air advantage against mech because he got the base kill, he put Inno behind on gas income, he got the Viking count up, and then he screwed it up. I'm just gonna say it. He messed it up a little bit. I mean, at that point, when you have a Viking lead like that, you just attack a bit too soon. It's so frustrating. It's really not how you expect things to go. Crazy. As we set up into this game too. Hey, what's up, Scylla91? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Much appreciated. Get some love in the chat for Scylla. Thank you very much for the love. Appreciate it. As we do see a depot dropping down back in the main base. Setting this up, getting this going. Reaper and a Helene on the way on either side here. Command center's dropping down. Mirrored build orders this time around, so no difference between the two of them just yet. Starport slightly faster from INnoVation across the map. See if INnoVation wants to continue playing some mech in this TvT. He really has enjoyed the mech TvT as of late. It's not just this series now, it's been for the last month or two. He really found mech in TvT and he's really stuck by it a lot of the time. And he does still play some marine tank and stuff here and there as well, but mech really has been something he's committed into. As we do have the medevac setting up from INnoVation over in the main base. Refinery dropping down on the natural. We just continue to build up here in this game number 2. Of this best of 5. SCV repairing up the Widowmine. Banshee and a siege tank on the way out, and a couple extra gases from INnoVation down on the natural, as we do have a Cyclone about to pop out of this main base as well. Then again, mirrored openings initially. Now there's some differences being made, and you can see Q's army supply has just skyrocketed a little bit in the early stages. So coming across here, Helene and a Cyclone. Ready to fight. INnoVation has a medevac and the 2 Cyclones. If he gets across the map with this, then he has some potential to deal some damage, of course. Banshee about to pop out from Q. That can come across the map as well at the moment as INnoVation makes his way towards the main. I mean, the Banshee isn't exactly the best defense against this because obviously you've got the couple of Cyclones they can lock on. It's kind of nice. Going to get into this main base, kill a couple of SCVs already. Doesn't lock on, so he's just going to get some kills Now he's going to lock on, get a couple more as they go running, and yeah, well, you get one more in the corner. It's going to be, what, 5 kills? Medevac was locked on for a moment, now gets away from it as well. That was the nice play from INnoVation, taking himself into a worker lead here in the early stages. So nice little job done so far. I love this Hellion, just sat on top of a Widowmine, such a bait. It's like, oh yeah, come kill me, boom. You're in trouble, as this Banshee will not make much progress on the natural Cyclone, the Raven position there. No cloak on the Banshee, but even just the vision sometimes that Raven can give can just extend the Cyclone lock on, etc. There's a couple more SCVs going down over in this natural. That Medevac is pretty low now, though, so doesn't want to stick around too much longer. The last thing you want to do is lose these units unnecessarily. If you can keep them alive, and will generally go pretty well for you. It's going to be seeing the Medevac continuing around down the bottom side. Extra factories dropping in, so guess what? INnoVation going to be playing mech once again here against the bio of Cure. So again, mech versus bio right now. Alien still sat out, trying to be the bait on that Widowmine. The Banshee also very passive too. Cure down about 8 workers, not pretty when you're playing the bio versus the mech, but you know, being passive is not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because he still has opportunities to deal damage with this Banshee, etc. Brings it in now. Cyclone immediately there to get the lock on. There's a missile turret too. This Banshee's really not going to get much done, is it? Man, INnoVation just 3rd CC down, setting up the gases already, and Cure is just like starting up stim and stuff. INnoVation's already looking to be in a really good spot. Here in this second map of this best of 5 win this, he's up 2-0, 1 map away from victory for the 8th time in a Kung Fu Cup weekly. Getting kind of crazy. Hey, what's up, Additional Pylon? Thank you so much for the 19-month resub. Says thanks for your role in the SEG community all these years. Thank you so much for your 19 months of support. Really appreciate it. Thanks for consistently being there. As INnoVation, it's an interesting move out. He's not really ready to fight, dropping some auto turrets down. Now, he drops some auto turrets down, but you've got to remember that Q actually still has auto turrets of his own to put to use. So INnoVation will probably be the one who wants to back away from this here now, as Q does just take the forward 3rd base as well. Position he can definitely push forwards from. We'll see what happens in it. Eyes on that. Yes, CV is going to repair up the Viking here. And we do just have the combat shields coming up as well. Reactor dropping down, Tech Lab on the racks. And again, building up a little bit as the 2 extra armories from INnoVation coming into the main base here. A few Hellions wanting to go around the left side, but the tank fire from Cure is good. And the Marauder and the Marines chasing down. So no entry from INnoVation. Has Blue Flame on those Hellions already as well. So you gotta be really, really careful. You gotta be really, really careful about this. If you go a bit too far, if you let those Hellions in, they are going to do so much damage so quickly. Cure finds a push across the map. I mean, again, it's just tanks and a couple of Ravens. It's not really much of power, right? It's not anything that can realistically break down a siege tank line, I don't think. As Cure continues down the bottom right. So bringing this across here already. CC will drop in. This Medevac coming all the way out over the left. 2 Hellbats in there. I mean, Cure's trying to get into like an interesting little spot here. I kind of like the idea. INnoVation will lose a couple of his Vikings here. Good matrices. Obviously, auto turrets available, and INnoVation will start setting those up. So will Cure. So it's auto turrets across the board right now. And Cure kind of wins this position out. SCV is dropping down. Hellbats are going to go drop across the map as well. There's already 1 Medevac of Hellbats in towards the natural expansion. INnoVation looking to get some damage done with this. Then he's already getting some SCV kills. So some damage done as Cure's army over here honestly doesn't look that scary. If he doesn't have the Vikings nearby, he loses high ground vision. That can become quite expensive as well, as these Hellbats going to drop down this mineral line too. Should probably just go for the SCVs, which he will. And oh my god, Cure, 19 workers down? 20? Oh no, it's just more and more damage being done. There's no recovery time at all for Kua. He's just taking blow after blow at the moment. Just does not seem to be able to get himself back on track at any point in time. Two more Liberators here on the way in the main base. Fourth command center from Kua setting up on the right side as well. Damn. Well, CC going to be finishing on the fourth in a moment or two. Still these Italians moving around on the top. Might be able to delay this fourth base secure a little bit, and then INnoVation's own fourth command center is not too far off. He did have one cancelled if I'm not mistaken, just in those previous fights. INnoVation 165. They actually both supply blocked on 165 for a moment here, so something they need to try and get out of. I'll be coming back around up to the top. Couple of Hellions will dive by, and I mean, again, it's INnoVation. Just a few SCVs here and there really adds up. 5 workers for what, a couple Hellions? As far as INnoVation's concerned, he loves that trade. He's so far ahead on work count now, playing a way more efficient style. He's traded actually quite badly here so far. Obviously, the work count makes up for that a little bit. But realistically, in the upcoming fights, he should trade way better, as now he's going to come out and come forwards. He'll take the fourth base. And this becomes so hard for Kua to break. You can already see an extra starport dropping down. He's not going to go try and, bull rush this. He's going to go second starport, extra Vikings, really try and take air control in some way or shape or form. And try and fight the long game here, but it's going to be tough to pull off realistically. It's going to be real tough. Here comes the rest of this army from Kua back around the top side. Thinking about pressing forwards. Couple of tanks sieging up already. A bunch of tanks sieging up already. Now we're going to see a bit more of a fight breaking out here. Liberators of Kua not getting forwards and into this fight at all. He's losing the Viking count as well, so INnoVation wins in the skies. And a win in the sky is really all you need to hold this position. Now INnoVation already floating a 5th command center out as well, so while Kua's building one in position, INnoVation's already landing his, which is getting kind of crazy. A few Hellbats here just to clean up this siege tank as well. Just a pretty decent job very quickly. Kua is just wandering around the map looking for openings, but INnoVation is not giving him a single opening just yet. Kua will get a +1 ship weapon upgrade. I'd like to see that from INnoVation. I guess INnoVation does have +2 vehicle plating, so that does help. It's something at least. Hellbats over here. Well, Kua sees them coming in, so just going to be able to pull the SCVs back and just going to drop these Hellbats down and can get whatever they can. Couple workers is still better than no workers. Yeah, this Hellbat over here actually found a bunch of SCVs transferring. Those are all taking a lot of damage already. Again, a little bit of damage. I mean, it's a big distraction though. INnoVation making his way up the map, and if INnoVation gets sieged in position, Kua is in trouble. Now, INnoVation has a bit of a lack of defense over here as well against this bio army, perhaps. 2 more tanks sieging up though, and that makes it like this secondary line that helps out a lot. Can Kua defend? He's going to have the top side 5th base he just finished building cut off now. So that's already going to be a slight issue. What's he going to do with the rest of this army? Does he commit into a position, or does he actually just pull this back to help defend? I think he's just going to commit in over here. This base is pretty vulnerable. All the defense from INnoVation was out to the left-hand side. Obviously, INnoVation is going to get a base for a base at the very least, so it's a base for a base. A lot of SCVs start going down. Liberators coming forwards do nothing at all. Now, INnoVation is going to lose the top right side. Now, at the same time, he should be able to deny this base here. He's got tanks zoning out this area. It should, in general, be kind of difficult for Kua to get anywhere on this map right now. I mean, realistically, I think INnoVation probably denies at least 1 more base here, if not 2. I think INnoVation ends up either equal or ahead on bases. The tank siege, Plant Reformers goes down in what, 2 volleys? Okay, it makes it to volley number 3, but not by much. Worker count is actually pretty similar as well, 51 to 46. Kua did keep this orbital command alive. That's actually worth keeping in mind. If you keep this alive, makes a difference. INnoVation, reinforcements in the center. We'll actually see these units here. Needs to be careful, especially the Vikings, something you generally do want to keep alive, but Kua didn't realize it soon enough. These tanks will siege. They're obviously a bit out of position overall, though. He is actually starting to blow up this planetary force to the top side. Maybe that's what Q will try and make the break on. As INnoVation repositions to try and deal with that. These Marauders and Marines moving down. If INnoVation saw that he can reinforce with these units now properly, kills a lot of these SCVs in that top corner. Q are going to lose the base. This base actually burnt down over here as well. Oh man, this is kind of tough. Again, INnoVation can't reinforce. But it's kind of a fight that looks as though it's going to go okay for him anyways. Here we go. Let's see what happens. As, I mean, Q is just fighting into a siege up position. Yes, it's from the left and the right. It's a nice fight, don't get me wrong, in terms of the way it should go. But you're just so far behind. But INnoVation's going to easily clean this up. He actually doesn't even break this position. Wow, INnoVation didn't even need reinforcements. INnoVation goes up 2-0 in this best of 3 of this best of 5. Let's kick this off and see what happens. In the top right, our Red Terran player, this is Cure. Taking on the Blue Terran in the bottom left. INnoVation up 2-0 in this best of 5 right now. Looking pretty good at the moment. Looking pretty good, all things considered here so far. Alrighty, so into the third map of this best of 5. Set this up, get this underway. Refinery going to be finishing in the main base. Gas racks coming in. On either side of the map, SCV from Cure going to be moving into the middle. Second gas from INnoVation, so again, going to stick to this double gas opening. Not going to go one gas expand, which is what we've seen Q do a couple times now. INnoVation just happy to sort of take the slower expansion route here. As we get this up and get this rolling. Q having some real difficulty against this mech play of INnoVation. Having some real trouble at the moment. It's not been too pretty as you see the SCV back into the natural. SCV of INnoVation will make its way up towards the upper right-hand side. Command center dropping down of Cure in the natural there as well. The SCV can turn back out into the center. Just waiting for the setup here. INnoVation gonna keep the SCV on the watchtower. Might want to keep this out so his Reaper can obviously come in and help out a bit as well. So there's Reaper coming all the way up to the upper right-hand side. There's the command center dropping down. Bunker from Cure as well. He does go Reaper and a Marine, so it's a little safer than just Reaper into Reactor, of course. And that should mean there's no way INnoVation actually wins out this fight, even if you go for the Reaper kill. Yeah, there's just no way. The Marine damage output extra is just too much, and Cure wins that one pretty convincingly there. Obviously, the Reaper regenerates. And with the bunker up as well, you're very safe. So a good little start for Cure at the very least here this time around. As you see Reaper and the Hellions sitting at the front here, holding out. Reaper from Cure down the right-hand side of the map as well. So get this up and running. Reaper hops up into the main base. Reaper and the Hellion from INnoVation pressing forwards. Cure is going to be able to pick off that SCV. So SCV goes down. I mean, it's nice because you get the little scout as well. Get to see the tech lab on the factory, right? Little things that just tell you a bit more about where this game is at right now. So Cure with a little bit of information there. As we do have the Reaper of INnoVation out around to the top. Just going to be seeing the Hellion from Inno continues towards the upper right as well. Bunker setting up at the front. Raven on the way down. A couple extra SCVs building. And this orbital command from INnoVation going to be finishing up in the natural very soon. There's the Hellion of Cure. Still just kind of moving around on the bottom of the map. Seeing where it can get to. Medevac with the Cyclone and a few Marines. INnoVation looking for some damage then. And this Cyclone Marine drop can actually be pretty successful. It's with the micro available on the Medevac, you can get a lot done sometimes. Obviously, you can show up where your opponent isn't really expecting you, so you can catch them out of position from the start. See what the Raven maybe helps to do here from Cure, because that will be out. An order turret could help. There won't be energy for a Matrix right away as we do see these Marines dropping down, so a couple SCVs will start to drop. INnoVation was down on workers going into this, so nice for him to start dealing a bit of damage. We see one Marine picked off as well as the auto turret drops in. And there's the Hellion of Cure walking by into the natural expansion. Couple of SCVs pulling in to fight this. Yeah, that's actually going to get... this is such a shame for INnoVation because he actually did pretty well, of course, like getting a few workers across the map, but now lose SCVs, he's just going to stay behind. He's just going to stay behind. As we do see our command center from INnoVation in the main base as well. Cure around the bottom. Still this medevac of units here from INnoVation moving around as well. More Marines behind the mineral line. The tank Raven out around the top. CC dropping into the main base. Starport is just going to lift and look to see where it wants to relocate to. Factory starts up a Cyclone and it's going to be Magfield. So I've been talking a bit about Magfield here and there, but we've not really seen much of it. But this time, Cure's going to commit into it in the early stages. So going for this at the moment. Again, that Magfield coming up, then Factory going to be done soon. Cure's going to just play a straight up mech behind this as well. So Magfield Accelerator opening into mech, and we'll see if INnoVation feels like he needs to respond with Magfield and Cyclones of his own. And we could see some Magfield versus Magfield, Cyclone on Cyclone action to really make this a little bit crazy in the early stages. Absolutely a possibility here early on in this grand final. Game number 3, Cure's life on the line, needs to win this one to keep it going, needs to win 3 in a row to win the tournament. It's tough. It is tough. Going to be seeing the Starport building a reactor. Extra factories already coming down. Cure not really slowing down at all in that regard. His production is going to be up that much faster than INnoVation's. INnoVation's just been on like an SCV nightmare this game. Not having fun at all. A couple Hellion siege tank coming in. INnoVation's in some real trouble in terms of the worker. This Raven actually went pretty big. Getting 4 kills overall. It's kind of nice with the Hellion getting some kills earlier too. It's kind of crazy. Well, as Cure salvages up a bunker, he's really just in the driving seat in this game. As the Rax hangs around up on the top side, just going to be seeing the couple supply depots dropping down from INnoVation as well. INnoVation's Viking going to come out and chase that Raven of Cure away through the bottom of the map here, so this Raven is going to get pushed away for the moment. Again, a couple of Ravens of INnoVation making their way into the main base. Plenty of auto turrets here. He needs some damage. INnoVation's just way behind this game. He was absolutely looking so much better as... yeah, trying to get as many auto turrets down as possible. This will be a good few kills. INnoVation and a couple extra there. Keeps the Ravens alive as well. Sitting back on the 3 bases, but down heavily in supply in what is pretty much a mirrored matchup. Even going into that Magfield Accelerator to try and match what Cure is doing as well. It's pretty tough right now. He's building a couple Liberators. We'll see how those work out. We'll see if he uses them for harassment or if he maybe wants to try and use them to zone out Cyclones, getting lock-ons or coming into certain positions. A couple of opportunities, couple of possibilities here, really. As you see the Hellions and Cyclones out around this top side. The Viking of INnoVation coming around the top. And the Hellions able to take down one Marine right from the start. INnoVation really trying everything he can. Even a Viking showing up to try and deal some damage. And now some Cyclones around the top side. Magfield will be done soon. If Q is out of position, these Cyclones could realistically kill a base. Although I guess the SCVs are here, so it's kind of tough. Couple tanks to zone for INnoVation. Not sure if that'll be enough. Let's see what he can do. Comes in. He doesn't actually have the Magfield yet, so he will just go for SCV kills. Couple of interference matrices going to take the tanks out of the equation, so they're not going to matter at all. Magfield now done for INnoVation. We'll see what he can do across the map as he's losing a lot over here. SCVs and Cyclones of his opponent coming in. A Liberator comes in to help out as well. He is going to get a lock-on or 2 extra over his opponent. Well, he's actually doing a very good job trading on the other side of the map. INnoVation's doing very impressive things, but he's still in trouble, right? He's going to lock on. This orbital command going to take a lot of damage now. SCV's coming in to repair it. Is it enough? Well, they're going to get blown up by the Liberator. Hey, INnoVation's just killed a base. Meanwhile, Kira is going to go dive bombing his way into this natural, man. There's so many Marines and so on. They're soaking up so many of these Cyclone lock-ons, and that's such a huge deal as INnoVation has to pull SCVs. INnoVation is still dead, but he actually very nearly made this happen with what was going on across the map. That's kind of crazy as the rest of these Cyclones locking on as well. Orbital Command still taking some extra damage. It's crazy as we do see these Cyclones able to just about kill off that orbital. Another auto turret going down. The rest of these Cyclones getting picked away at. And that is pretty much going to be it for INnoVation, I think. I mean, he's going to defend, sure, but he killed a base, but then Kyo's got a base on this low ground, so he's still 3 bases against 2. And that's probably the issue, right? Kyo just has too much on the map as well. He's got so many more Cyclones than INnoVation does. And he realistically has an army that can fight a few Hellions to buffer as well. If they soak some Cyclone lock-ons, even better for you. As you do see, INnoVation just not going to have the numbers there. And Kyo will take a game number 3 in this grand final. Will go on to a game. On the top left-hand side, having taken a map here finally, our red Terran player is Kyo. And in the bottom right, our blue Terran player, INnoVation. Game 4 of this best of 5. As we set this up, we get this underway. And INnoVation close this out. Remember, he's never lost in the finals of a Kung Fu Cup Weekly. He's been, second round of 4 a few times. In a Kung Fu Cup Weekly, he's never lost. He won number 3, he won number 6, number 11, number 16, number 18. And he won number 30, and he won number 32. Those are the 2 he's won this year already. One of them already against Kyo in the Grand Finals. Can INnoVation close it out again? Will Kyo get his hands on his 5th Kung Fu Cup Weekly win, which would put him 2nd place in all-time wins behind INnoVation, who obviously leads with the 7 wins in total. It's crazy. These guys have some real stats on them in these events. Very cool to see. So you just have our factory setting up in the main base. SCV of Kyo coming along and down, moving around here. Once again, Q will be the player to expand a bit more quickly. And in general, he's been getting into good positions, I feel, off this faster expand. I don't ever feel like INnoVation is truly taking advantage of the fact that Q is expanding faster and he's the player who's been teching up a little bit harder. So I don't mind Q continuing to go for that. The games he's lost have not been from that position. It's not been because of that, you know? As we go into this game number 4 here and look to see just what will happen. CC finishing up from Cure in the natural expansion. Factory going to finish. Hellion will produce, and of course, Cure actually not even reactor in the Hellions. He's going to have 1 Reaper against 2 right now, though. INnoVation. No good response from Cure, pulling away instantly. I mean, it is going to be a delay on the starport, though. Yeah, you know, I feel INnoVation. He's not going to be overly aggressive, though, right? He's afraid of the Hellion popping out. He knows the Reapers are kind of on their own there, so he does back away. Two more Reapers just coming back down the bottom right-hand side. Command Center about to finish up from INnoVation in this natural. Cyclone from Cure building in the main base as well, so getting that up and rolling here. A couple extra Marines. Starport about to complete. Refinery coming down on the natural as well. Two more racks dropping down in the main base here from INnoVation, so getting that ready to go. A couple of Reapers hanging out over the side, a Hellion in the front. Stimpack building from INnoVation in the main base as well, so just getting a lot of build up here. Getting ready to rumble. As you will see, extra gas is taken. INnoVation playing bio is kind of a bit of a way to change this up, right? Kind of like it. Changing it up a little bit. Getting that Stimpack underway. You know, it felt like we needed a bit of a breath of fresh air here, perhaps, for INnoVation. Trying to play mech every time, you know, it becomes a bit predictable, it becomes a bit figured out. It's always good to change it up. It's always good to keep your opponent kind of, you know, guessing, right? Keep your opponent on edge. Make them figure out what's happening, you know? That kind of stuff. There's this Reaper and the Hellion coming down the bottom. Couple of Reapers here from INnoVation looking to try and fight. It's a very fast stim as well, right? Like, it's a very fast moving towards bio. It's not hanging around on factory tech or anything initially early in the game. So it's not just bio, it's like real quick into bio. As we see 4th gas, 3rd CC from Cure. That's kind of the difference as well, right? No 3rd CC from INnoVation. As Cure will be the first to be aggressive, and he will pick up some information with this, realizing there's no 3rd base, realizing, you know, the stim already being done, etc. There's a lot of Marines here. So that's good information for Cure to work with, because now he knows what INnoVation is trying to do. He can maybe work around that a little bit himself, as the Raven gets away there. The first 2 medevacs about to be done, so INnoVation get on the map. Kind of a shame for him to be the one taking damage already, though, because it definitely feels like INnoVation is the kind of guy that's meant to be dropping a mineral line. But the drop from Cure really does so much for him. Able to get in there, able to say, oh, hey, look, I can see what's going on, I can see what's happening. And that kind of stuff is very, very good for you, as we do have a few Marines being healed up by the medevac here. A little bit more army from INnoVation out into the center of the map. Reaper going to get picked off as well. And just going to be seeing the Stimpack coming in from Cure. So we're going to see Marine tank on Marine tank for the first time in this series. Order turret shows up, 4 kills. Guess what? The drop in the main base back as well. INnoVation having to stim over to deal with this. He needs to deal some damage over here. Tanks us defensively on the main base. Is there a way to deal some damage on the natural? If you get behind the natural mineral line, there absolutely is. He's actually just going to be straight up on the natural with these tanks as well, so that definitely helps. 1 tank coming in to respond from Cure. INnoVation loses a lot of his Marines, though. Don't feel like this is going well for INnoVation at all here. 13 workers lost, and Cure is really looking good in the last few moments, huh? Really making this look good. Orbital command on the natural, taking a lot of damage. Extra Marines unloading there. The Vikings patrolling at the front. And this tank at least forcing some SCVs to come and repair. INnoVation, remember, no 3rd base, and doesn't look like he wants to go for one, which kind of means that as far as Q is concerned, he just has to keep on defending. You know, as far as Q is concerned, if he's not taking any damage, he's kind of alright here. There's so many siege tanks. It's going to be so difficult for INnoVation to break this. This auto turret comes back in. Again, that Raven being such a frustration right now. A few Vikings trying to draw Marines further forwards. I mean, you're about to see this Liberator coming into play. These tanks have to unsiege, and that's actually a save on the Orbital at like the lowest of hit points. Liberator's saving the day there. INnoVation will try and build up a 3rd. And this Orbital, I mean, it was kind of a smart move from Cure to pull back. It was the right sort of time, and I wonder if he was trying to bait INnoVation even to saying like, oh, I won't unsiege the tanks, I'm going to let them keep targeting the Orbital, and obviously Cure's just like, aha, now I'll repair it, right? Like, it might have even been like a bit of a bait in that regard. Like, you know, these guys are very good. Those are little things you can do to try and just make your opponent feel hope and then crush it in that same moment. Now, INnoVation still has map control. It's just tough to do anything with, but what he can do is stop the 3rd base landing. As long as the 3rd base isn't landed, this worker advantage from Cure isn't actually as substantial as you might feel. This is substantial right now because he just dropped a ton of mules at once. INnoVation, I guess, is not dropping mules. He's got a couple saved up. It's always hard to say in TvT because of the mules, but in general, the extra SCVs aren't making much of a difference because they don't have the mineral line they need to mine from. So, in that regard, it's kind of tough. This Liberator across the map, man. It's the constant harassment from Cure that's just been such a frustration as INnoVation. We'll get rid of this Liberator, sure, but Took a little while. 7 more workers dead. He's taking siege tank damage once again now as these extra tanks going to come across the map sieging. I mean, just how do you get rid of the Liberators? That's the issue you're kind of facing right now as INnoVation. Like, these Liberators, there's just no answer to them. The air control is too strong. I mean, you've kept the third base away from mining for a good amount of time. This Raven finds its way to the third base, and INnoVation just falling further and further behind. This is becoming so painful. Kira's absolutely just made INnoVation look like a bit of a fool, honestly, in the last half of this series, so last half of this game. And in the last couple maps in general, Kira has just been running INnoVation amok. You know, INnoVation's looked a little bit silly trying to figure this out. It's been kind of crazy. Do you see the rest of this army gathering up together? INnoVation's still got an upgrade lead, 2-2 well on the way, but yeah, there's just so few ways for him to break into Q's base because Q's invested into all the stack defense to stay safe earlier. You're not dropping this main from here. Maybe the natural's a bit vulnerable. Army on the third base. So Q's the one that's just out on the map now, dealing damage or looking to deal damage while having been ahead in workers. Yeah, a bit behind in upgrades, but yeah, it's crazy, right? Like, it's crazy. This is a nice catch from INnoVation. Kill a full medevac of Marines. Oh no, he changed targets. He gets the medevac, but he could have killed a few more Marines there for free. And honestly, right now for INnoVation, anything along those lines could go such a long way for you. You need everything you can get because, again, you are definitely struggling a bit here based on what's happening so far. There's one vehicle plane starting up on either side. The 2-2 upgrades coming into play as well. You have combat shields and stim on both sides, so it really is just the 2-2 timing difference as INnoVation sees this medevac of Marines and he will stim in for it. He's going to get a couple kills. Good response from Cure pulling away as now Cure, though, maxed out, and it's time for Cure to press his main army advantage and see what he can do. Starting to come out across the map. Moving into the center here already. Marines and tanks coming through. A couple tanks of INnoVation already out of position at the start of this. And INnoVation already feels like he's in trouble because he's about to be stimmed up into his natural and he's not going to defend it. He's out of position on the left-hand side. He didn't see Cure coming this through the center of the map. And Cure kind of going in towards those siege tanks. He'll back away from that, but again, he can just go into the natural here. Denies +1 vehicle weapons, denies the natural CC. And that's going to be all of these SCVs dropping down dead. So many workers going down. This orbital will die as well. And that's pretty much going to be it. I mean, Kira loses a lot of Marines in this natural, but at the end of the day, right, like, he's still got the tanks out here. He's just denied a base. This game is pretty much Kira's unless he manages to royally screw up in the next fight or so. I mean, you would have to really screw up to lose this one. The Vikings still trying to fight. And the Vikings trying to come in. Those Marines coming in too. Tanks from QS sieging up in the center. The rest of these Marines down into the middle of the map as well as... Well, I think as far as QS concerned, it's just about playing this out. INnoVation is floating their 4th base CC back to his natural to retake the 3 base in total. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. There's an extra tank or 2 pressing forwards here. Have a little bit of army from INnoVation in the middle as well. A few Marines around the top side trying to see what they can do. Kua just looking to surround this a little bit, maybe. Coming from the top, the left, the right. Yeah, I mean, it's a game that is already somewhat decided here. Let's be realistic. Vikings trying to do a bit more. INnoVation's Marines sitting out the side there. Vikings taking some damage. The rest of these Marines and medevacs from Q out to the left-hand side, and we'll see a bit of INnoVation's army pressing up into the center. These Vikings from Q, see where they can get to. A few Marines stimming in after them, and the tanks still sieging up, pushing towards the front now. In the end, Q will just bring those back. Still has a huge amount of Marines on the map to just try and stab away and find anything. If a 4th base comes down over here, it's going to die real quick. And Q obviously has a good 4th base setup and even taking base 5 on the left-hand side. Why the heck not? You're in a good enough position to make the most of it. Take advantage. That, for the moment, is exactly what Kyo will do. As INnoVation shows up here, gets an SCV, and will blow up the CC as well. The rest of this Marine tank army hanging around in the center. Marines and tanks also making their way out around the right-hand side. Rest of these Marines, a few of them dropping into the third base already. More Marines dropping into the main two. Siege tank goes down. Racks are going to be picked away at. I mean, it's a nice little play from INnoVation trying to jump up into this natural expansion, but the thing is, Q can absolutely afford to clean this up, and INnoVation cannot afford to clean this up back at home. I mean, he's just going to continue taking damage here. Yeah, maybe this army comes in and you get forced to drop back over here. I mean, then these Marines just get some medevac support, and that's obviously just a helping hand. There's even more Marines to the left side that haven't even joined the fight just yet that could still come into play. INnoVation gets the tanks to the right, so he's going to take down another base. Again, the ideas from INnoVation are good. It's just he doesn't have the units to realistically make it work. And that means it's just going to be too much here, as we do have a army still pressing forwards. A little bit more from INnoVation coming through as well right now. And these few tanks as well also going to be looking pretty good to cover this. These Vikings going to drop down. These tanks going to take a whole bunch of damage. And that is a cleanup here from Cure, who takes down a couple extra Marines at the end as well. And that's, again, just a massive supply lead. And we're going to game 5. These players, they never disappoint in the TvT until we go into game number 5. And the next thing, you know, we got 2 racks and it's like 2 minutes long. That's when they disappoint, but not until they get to game 5. As you see, Kyo will clean up and will take the map number. Yeah, you guessed it. Game number 5 of this TvT, and on the left-hand side of the map, INnoVation is going to be the one to build not just 2, but 3 proxy barracks. Super all-in from INnoVation. Now, Q has been playing 1 gas expand after 1 gas expand all day long. Oh, Q is going to go in base 2 racks. Okay, so this is really good for Q because he's obviously going to build Reapers. I actually don't know how in base 2 racks fares against 3 racks, because the 3 racks proxy is kind of nice. The 3 racks proxy is kind of nice, I guess. You will have an extra Reaper. It still comes down to micro, and just having defensive units up alone from Q should be good. He will see what's up soon as well, as he is going to go and scout across the map. Just going to be seeing the second gas dropping down from INnoVation then, as he sends one of his SCVs back home. Reaper's building up. Here comes the scout from Q. We'll see no racks in the main. He's going to also see no orbital, though, which should be the sign as well that this is more than just a 2 racks. This was just a 2 racks. You can absolutely just do this with an orbital command. You don't have to cut SDVs. 3 racks you do, though. So we've seen, oh, Reaper's going to come in against each other there. Hey, that's actually kind of nice. First shock went in for INnoVation. The second Reaper here ready soon for Cure, but I mean, INnoVation, it's kind of close. He's going to take an extra shot as Cure's Reaper regenerates. I mean, second Reaper coming forwards here. And just going to be seeing a little bit of fighting. SCV trying to drill that depot, gets taken down as well. Another SCV of Cure wanting to come across. INnoVation will back away for a moment. Remember, this is 3 racks. INnoVation's like question mark, and Cure sends a sad face because I think it is a pretty hard counter, right? In the end, yeah, you have less Reaper production, but you also got the Mule up, and then eventually you add a 3rd rack, so now you're on similar Reaper production, and Cure's just going to have so much more. He's basically on the same set of units with, what, a 9-worker lead, an 11-worker lead? Sorry, do the math correctly. Yeah. Doesn't look good. 5 Reapers here from Inno. That's going to be his commitment through. And Cure just has to not screw up, basically, and trade evenly. And he's absolutely fine, right? Because, again, he's building just as much while mining so much more. INnoVation drops a grenade. A Reaper pops out. His extra Reaper shows up. He gets a kill for a kill. INnoVation's going to end up backing away. He gets 5 workers killed, but he's so far behind. It's tough. It's really, really tough. These Reapers want to come back up, but guess what? Q is already in position. He gets 1 kill. Grenade on INnoVation's Reapers, and it looks as though Q will be the first ever player to defeat INnoVation in a Kung Fu Cup weekly final. How crazy is that? INnoVation has absolutely no hope now. He's trying to build an orbital back at home. Kira, again, holding on. Starts to expand. And INnoVation is in a world of trouble. As from 2-0 up, INnoVation looked dominant in games 1 and 2. And then Kira really just played his heart out in games 3 and 4. And this was just a build order mistake in the end from INnoVation. These Reapers of Kira hanging around at the front. Gonna be 6 Reapers from INnoVation setting up then. And this is, again, really just about it. Extra Reaper 2 popping out. All of these coming through. I mean, INnoVation can try and try again, but he just doesn't have the numbers as he commits to this fight, and now he's going to lose everything. And, well, then Kyo goes across the map and kills him. GG is called. Dots is INnoVation. He can't believe it as Kyo takes game number 5. The in-base proxy 2-racks, or the in-base 2-racks, is a good counter, and Kyo will take a Kung Fu Cup off of INnoVation. How about that? And we'll move up to the second player in the rankings of overall Kung Fu Cup.